Hello everyone, Comrade Snake here. It has been a long time, I've been very busy, but I have, the game is still on the table. War and Peace, Marengo. It is exactly as I left it. Well, not really, since the last video. Because when I finally got back to, like, alright, I need to finish this, rereading the rules, getting back into it, I'm gonna do things, I discovered two things. One was a mistake, which is that I had misremembered the rule and thinking before that the British immediately go into this one of the cities when taken, but they do not. They have to take a sea movement to get into the city. So those British units that were originally in Genoa are no longer in Genoa. I put them back out at sea. In the reinforcement phase, they'd get one more if Florence, Genoa, and Florence are both controlled, assuming they're still controlled by the start of the Allied player turn, then they'll be able to move into the city. But otherwise, Genoa is much weaker than previously thought. And then the second thing that I kind of realized, or forgot about rather, when I was rereading the rules, is I forgot about the overrun rule. If you're 4-to-1 or greater of an enemy stack, it's just automatically wiped out, which I had forgotten about, which means that leader G here, with his 2 strength points and this 1 strength point cavalry over here, are in a critical weakness that they are basically doomed from Napoleon, although I think the G could actually retreat into Milan, but it doesn't really save him or help his situation that much. It doesn't change that Napoleon is still going to run roughshod over them, and that means that Melas probably made a critical mistake, as tempting as it was to go for that to Genoa and get those British. He may be critically weak here, as Napoleon and Soult could potentially move in for the kill on him, and from there it's only going to get worse. Florence probably, when Florence is not going to be able to hold, they don't even have a commander, they'll just get sieged down most likely by Soult in the follow-up, while Napoleon goes up and continues to fight up here, fight this campaign up here, and just do more and more damage to the Austrians. So the French, in order to win the scenario through like the conquest of Italy, basically, at least one of the ways they can do it is if they can occupy Austrian Italy, so that would be Milan, Mantua, Venice, and then 3 other cities in Bavaria or Austria, then they win automatically. If I can't remember if I explained all the victory conditions here, but also if they can capture either Budapest or Vienna and have a line of supply, they have to have a line of supply. That's they always have to have a line of supply. They automatically win. Or if starting in November, they have potential to roll on the alliance table and force Austria to surrender and go neutral, which is also an automatic victory, because they're technically at war with them and Britain, but forcing Austrian neutrality is a default win. So we'll see how that goes. At the moment, just kind of looking over the situation, Austria and Italy is extremely vulnerable. Napoleon's still going to have to fight at least one major battle against a sizable Austrian force with reinforcements. Leader H is up in Vienna with 4 strength points, and he'll have at least 5 or 6, depending if he takes cavalry, if the Allied player takes cavalry or infantry on the reinforcement phase. So there's potentially going to be a pretty large Austrian army by the time Napoleon can get over there. So we'll have to fight at least one distinct battle there. Otherwise, in Bavaria, the situation is much more hairy for the French. Strasbourg is currently under siege. By that Austrian force, it kind of looks like it's adjacent, but really they're sieging it. They're going to attempt to relieve. They're still trying to relieve the city and seeing what they can do. But either way, it's the French position in Bavaria is pretty bad. So I've also skipped ahead past the supply phase. The alliance phase doesn't apply yet, so I didn't do that. And I did the reinforcement phase for France, so they got the 2 infantry joint points in Lyon, and Leader F is going to be able to collect some of those guys and push through to keep the supply lines open through Austrian Italy, most likely. Might even just grab the guys in Lyon. Well, he'll have to wait till next turn, but he's going to end up probably just making a relief column to try to get up to help out up here in Bavaria, or maybe that's what Launay will do. I mean, he's going to have to siege down Milan almost assuredly, but other than that, I think that's what he's going to do. So this turn, at least in Italy, is definitely going to go France's way almost assuredly. Granted, we'll still probably have to fight a battle here in Genoa, or maybe even start sieging it. The Austrians may want to opt for the siege just to slow down the French as much as possible. So we'll see how that goes. Because if they can keep them at bay, at least down here, they have a chance up top in Bavaria to break through and start capturing some of these important cities, and they can potentially force an automatic alliance victory. An automatic alliance victory if they get 3 cities. Sorry, five French cities. My apologies. If they can occupy 5 French cities, so that'll be, everything in the blue border. So if they can get into, those important spaces here, then we will be looking pretty. All right, so I'm going to do those moves right now, the movement phase for France, and I'll get right back to you. Just give me one moment. All right, so as you can probably see here, we now have a battle unfolding here at Genoa with these 2 forces converging on, well, Napoleon is the primary, but he's going to try to bring Soult in here to converge on Genoa. And Melas is in a bit of a pickle. He has 7 strength points, and only 6 can fit in the city. So he's going to opt to fight a battle and see if he can bleed the French a little bit before retreating into the city. So we'll see how that goes here. There's also another battle up in Bavaria, as Melas is once again attempting to relieve Strasbourg. So he has the numerical superiority, which he did last time as well, but he still has to try to break him. Hopefully he'll get more luck, and he can call in. He's going to try to call the garrison in to come sally out and help him if he can make that roll, but it is just a 0 leader, so we'll see how that goes. Oops. Oh no, I dropped him over. Well, anyway, part of the issue, too, for... there you go. Part of... Totally lost my train of thought when I knocked that stuff over. I was going to say something. There was another conundrum the French were going to have to deal with, apart from just the inevitable Austrian counterattack by Kray up in Bavaria. But I remember what I was going to say. Normally you're supposed to, when you do battles, the battle phase, the combat phase, you do each round for each battle individually. So you do round 1 for the battle of, for instance, Genoa, and then round 1 of the battle for Strasbourg, and then round 2, and then 2 is back and forth. And I think it does that for retreat reasons, so that you can't try to kind of game the system a little bit on that. The battles, you don't know exactly when they're going to break either direction. But since that's not really going to affect either of them here, I'm just going to run them both at the same time and see where we're at. Well, I guess, you know what, why don't we roll, since I already got it laid out, let's just roll for the one up in Bavaria on camera. You can see how that's all going to go. Let's do that and check it out. So the larger force is, of course, the French here. They have 8 strength points against 4 of the Austrians, so they're coming in at a 2-to-1. So that's good for them. And they're going to do a nice little die roll here. The terrain is still technically clear, and if it does go to a second round, they're going to try to call in, or maybe more than one round rather, they're going to try to call in some reinforcements here from Leader H in Strasbourg. Now, it's all those French penalty rules. So right now, they're actually at a -1 for their morale, and the Austrians are at a +2, or excuse me, +1. So they have 2 morale versus the 1 of the French. So they would be at a -1, but they have Moreau has a +1 leadership over Leader F here, the Austrians. So overall, it's a bounce on that. And I'm not doing guard. Well, there's no guards involved anyway, or cavalry charge or anything like that. So it's just going to end up being a solid. Well, it's just a straight die roll. Straight die roll, and no modifications. Let's see where we're at. And well, they rolled a 10. That's a pretty good roll. And so on the 2-to-1, 2-to-1, 10, large force 1, small force D1. Oh, I'm sorry. This one. A large force 1, small force D3. So then if we look at the strength points, total strength points, small point is 4. So they're going to take, oops. So they're going to take 2 strength point losses and 3 morale hits, which is going to take them out. So the battle is immediately over. And then 1 loss for the French. Okay, so the French lose a strength point. 2 losses for the Austrians. And they now have to retreat. And the siege of Strasbourg is relieved. Moreau is a hero, yay. And there was much rejoicing. It's a big stack now at Strasbourg. And yeah, we'll take care of this retreat. I don't know, I guess we'll go. I'll think about where I want to retreat him, Leader F here in a second. Well, I'll think about that, and then I'm going to roll this one just off camera just to speed things up a bit. And I'll be back after we see how that shakes out as well. All right, so we're back, and Melas's plan actually did kind of work. He did took 2 rounds of combat with Napoleon, who had to bring in Soult for the second round. And that first round, he inflicted a strength point loss on the French and didn't suffer any himself. So he bested Napoleon for the first round, and the second round was a 1-for-1, and then he decided to withdraw into the city. So overall, Melas came out the better for that. So good for him, and then survived the siege roll. Same for Leader G over here in Milan, survived that siege roll. I should have done it immediately, but I didn't before, so I just rolled that one too. So overall, the French did succeed for the most part, although they're now bogged down in this siege in Genoa, but Napoleon may opt to assault next turn. We'll see what he feels like, or just leave Soult to besiege it while he joins up with Launay and continues from there. That might be the better option, just because he needs to get moving. Not sure what Moreau is going to do. It's probably going to partially depend on what Cray and the Austrians do, who are definitely going to be trying to counterattack here, possibly against Moreau. They may opt to actually try to swing north and maybe try to see if they can do some damage up in the top section of Bavaria up here, deal with this small French force around here near Mons and Koblenz, and just cause problems for the French as much as they can. So I'll come back to that here after the Allied turns, or rather their phase. They have to go through their reinforcement phase and all that jazz, and then I'll come back after they've done their movement, and I'll tell you what's going down. All right, so I've done all of the upkeep stuff and did movement phase. So what we got going on here is, well, one thing I'll say, this attrition was not, it was mostly just normal for the Austrians, except poor Malas here rolled a 6, and so he actually took 2 strength point losses, so he's down to just 4 left after that, which is very, very bad for him. And then leader H over here was trying to march his men out and then attempted a force march and rolled a 6 and completely failed. So they barely moved from Vienna. So everything's just pretty slow going on those fronts. So the Austrians are hoping for better luck up in Bavaria. Their leader F joined up with these Austrian forces up here and are going to attack leader G, who may decide to withdraw, though he will suffer a strength point loss because the Austrians have cavalry and he doesn't. And Cray is going to fight Moreau over here in Strasbourg, and Moreau is he kind of is obliged to just stay and fight. He can't really let the Austrians have any ground here, potentially. Even if he retreats, or withdraws, he's just going to end up. It doesn't make sense for him to. He's going to have to fight them no matter what. He might as well fight them at full strength while possible. So we're going to have one really large battle going on here in southern Bavaria, and then up in the Rhineland, we're going to have a smaller but still potentially significant battle here as the Austrians are attempting to get around and to outmaneuver the French and potentially get into these. There's a lot of cities here that if they get a hold of, they're pretty much gonna just demolish the French here. Actually, I just realized. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me check. I need to check something about supply. I know Bavaria. I think Bavaria counts. Does it fully count as a supply source in this scenario? Supply. Austrian forces don't supply from any city in Bavaria. Yes. Okay. That is not occupied by French. Right. Okay. So yes. Okay. So they're okay. I was a little concerned. I was like, actually, for a second I thought maybe it was only Ulm, but no, it's actually. It's any city in Bavaria, so we'll be okay. Then from Wurzburg, so we'll be able to push on, from Frankfurt, and then we can make a supply line and get into these cities here and do a lot of damage. So depending on how this goes, we may end up with a very dicey situation for the French up in Bavaria. So they may, even though they're doing pretty well in Italy, they may lose in Germany. So we'll see how it goes here. Well, let's roll for, let's just do this on camera. Let's roll for these on camera here. Let's go for this guy. So we have it's cavalry. So we have 6 strength points, 3 infantry, 1 landwehr, 2, and these are just 4 infantry strength points. And it's in woods, which I don't think is going to matter for combat. Forest hex. Yeah, no. -1 if the small is attacked. Okay. So no, it does give an advantage to a smaller force. So there's a slight disadvantage there, but it should be made up. It's basically going to cancel out the morale advantage, but that's okay. Let's see what we get here. And the Austrians roll a 12, so basically complete success. So with the modifier, it's canceled out because it's one bonus for the morale and then 1 for the forest. So it's going to be a 12 at a 3-2. So that is going to end up being a large 1, small d3. So it's a 4. So it's going to be 2 losses for the French, 1 for the Austrians. We'll take the landwehr, and the French have to retreat. Okay. Head back to Verdun. And the Austrians will move into there. Ooh, actually, let me see something, because if I would have had to have left somebody in Frankfurt, actually, I think, for supply. So let's see, would that have put us, it would have put us at the 1-to-1, which would have had the same, no, D2. It's a D2. Would have been the same, okay, it would have been the same result. So instead we'll drop 1 Austrian infantry and put the land war back. So I messed that up a little bit, but we'll correct. Okay, so that's more correct what it would look like after that. Okay, so the Austrians are pushing the French out of Germany, northern Germany, the Rhineland. And I'm going to do the bigger one off camera because that's going to be more math to check out. So I'll get back to you in just a sec. So Moreau's decision to face the Austrians on the field, with roughly equal numbers, although the Austrians, of course, had the morale advantage, was a complete disaster. The Austrians rolled an 11, and with their +1, it became a 12. So the Austrians lost 2 strength points in the battle, and the French lost 5. So the only saving grace of that is it brought Moreau low enough to retreat into the fortress of Strasbourg when he was besieged, and the Austrians did not make that initial siege roll. So yeah, things are looking extremely dicey now for the French position as a whole, not just in Germany, but it means that it's now very much their game to lose, and they can try to rush some reinforcements up to the front, but it's going to take at least 2 turns for them to get there, and that's just with Leader F and probably force marching to Paris, or just trying to force march to Paris with reinforcements that'll be dropped there at the reinforcement phase and then shifting over. But it's going to get very ugly very fast here, and I'm not really sure if the French can recover. We'll see what happens next turn, but if they don't, October doesn't go better for them, I think that's gonna probably be pretty much it. We'll see. And I realize I've not been checking for like leader casualties, which I suppose I should, because it might matter for a couple of them here. So like, let's do Cray. Nope. Sorry, I'm not rolling on camera. Crap. Sorry. Moreau. No. There's some generic leaders in there. No. I think there's 1 generic leader with Cray. No. Oops. Generic leader G up here for French. No. Leader F for Austrians. Ooh. I think 1 is deaf. Double check because it's been a while. Didn't remember reading that and didn't refresh myself on that particular rule. Rule. At the end of each combat phase, yeah, it rolls 2 dice. Oh, 2 dice. Shoot. If it's a 12, they're dead. Oh, okay, never mind. If it's 1 to 5, then they're wounded. Okay, I did that all wrong. Okay, hold on. Cray. Oh no. I just said Cray again, and then I rolled a 12. The Austrians can't stop rolling 12s, even when it's bad. So Cray's dead. Oh no, there is no other Austrian leader in here. So... oh no. Can the siege even continue? I actually don't know. I don't think it... oh, well, I guess they technically can't move? I'm actually not... hold on, let me see. Does it say... does it say... oh, okay, hold on, sorry. All right. That's considered a casualty, but they may not be dead, although it still could be a disaster. But let's roll again. Okay, 5. So he's going to be placed back 4 turns, which basically means he'd come back in January. So potentially the final turn of the game. But let me see, if he died, does that mean oh yeah, unnamed leaders can never be killed or injured, never mind, okay. If a named leader is temporarily permanently moving out, the unpermanent immediately replace him with an available unnamed leader of the same color. Oh, okay. Okay, so it doesn't immediately end the siege. He's just replaced by another officer. Okay. All right. It's still not good that he's dead, but they're in such a commanding position, it probably isn't going to matter that much. I'm just going to grab leader E. We'll replace Cray. So Cray is out of action. Some other Austrian officer is now in charge. We'll see how it shakes out. Okay, but they have such a commanding, like I said, they have such a commanding position there in that region. It probably isn't going to matter, but still, that's. Moreau in a way got his revenge. But let me re-roll for Moreau then. Okay, Moreau's fine. I do need to roll for. I think Napoleon cannot be injured in this, but I need to roll for Kellerman since he technically is part of the battle, and Soult. So Kellerman is fine. Soult is injured for one. Oh, it was a one turn. Okay, so I do have to remove Soult here. Where is he? No, he's in here. There he is. That's annoying, but not the worst. And he's back in 1, so it's. Honestly, that might be beneficial just because I can actually use him. I think, and he can come out with in Paris with those spawning infantry. So maybe that's actually beneficial, to be honest. Okay, and then yep. We did all the rest. That'll be the end of the turn. Okay, so that was the. I almost said May turn. I meant, I almost said September turn. And that's the May turn. So now we're going to be in June. So this will be the 3rd turn coming up of the game, and things are already looking really dicey. So we'll see how it goes. I'm probably doing things wrong, and it's accelerating the pace. But I don't just mean rules wise and strategy wise, but it's interesting so far. So we'll see how it shakes out in the next go. Thanks for watching.